How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about GGPI. They came out with some big time news. I'm going to be sharing that with you. Plus, as far as the price action, I don't know if you are paying attention. Remember what I was talking about, loading up on those shares when it's trading below $11. And you know what? We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for GGPI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $11.56, being up 0.35%. On the low, it tested $11.30, and then on the high, testing $11.69. Taking a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 1.77 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 2.13 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and we saw some consistency in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 61.37. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are above the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And I must say that GGPI is looking very bullish. You can see we've been consistently forming higher lows, being on a strong uptrend. And congratulations to those who were loading up on shares while the stock was trading below $11. You know, this is the area where we like to add and accumulate on the position. But now from where we see it right now, we saw that high of 1169. So going into tomorrow with continued strength inside of the markets, I want to see the breakout. And if we could break out above 1169, this is where I want to see the move going to $12. This is very achievable, but do know this is an area of resistance. It is a psychological area. We could have some profit taking here. As you can see, when we tested it back here on March the 3rd, again, people started selling off, taking those profits. But the moment we break through 12, I want to see us make that move going to 1250, and we're off to the races from there. So it's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on this one. So as far as for Friday, if we decide to pull back or we want to consolidate, I want us to form another higher low. Most preferably, I would love for that to be right here around $11.40. The low of the day for today was $11.30. So if we can get $11.40 and then go into next week, things definitely look good for GGPI. So let's see how it performs going into tomorrow. Let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for GGPI. So for the off-exchange short volume ratio, it's at 54.62%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 844,961 shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 350,000, updated 18 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 2.31%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close of the 22nd, it was at 56.09. And then for the close of the 23rd, being at 54.62. So one thing that is clear, GGPI does continue to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for GGPI. So we see on the inflows at 3.90, and then on the outflow, it is at 4.17. These numbers are in the millions, and you can clearly see we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 3.03. And then on the small, it was 0.87. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 3.02. And then on the small, it was 1.15. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, March the 24th, we had 0. We also saw this on the 23rd and as well as the 22nd and for the 18th, and then we had that outflow day on the 21st. So not a lot of institutional activity whatsoever. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders, that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, it was very close, but we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, you can see it was 0 on both sides. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.79%. No surprises there. GGPI does not trade at large volume whatsoever. So for anyone who's a long-term investor, or maybe you might be swinging this play, that's why I was saying in previous videos that this has one of the best risk to reward ratios in the market right now for a buy and hold play. It has been consistent while the market has been super choppy. We'll talk about it further inside of the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for GGPI, that's going to be bringing Polestar public, let's go over the recent news that came out. So we have the Polestar's long-range single-motor Polestar 2 arrives in the United States. Following the release of its dual-motor variant late last year, Polestar announced on Wednesday that the 270-mile long-range single-motor version of its Polestar 2 EV is now available for sale in the US, starting at $45,900, $33,400 after federal and state incentives. The single-motor Polestar 2 is $4,000 less expensive than its all-wheel drive sibling, and provides a 16 extra miles of driving range to the all-wheels 249 miles. Other than the number of e-motors affixed to their axles, the two are functionally identical. All variants of the Polestar 2 exude the brand's leadership in cutting-edge technology with the Google infotainment system, premium sustainable materials, and unparalleled avant-garde design. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Greg Hembrow, head of Polestar North America, said in a press release, the 4000 Creature Comfort Plus upgrade and the 3200 pilot sensor and safety package are likewise available with either powertrain setup. So this is definitely some great news coming from Polestar. They're going to be getting into a competitive space in the United States. I also do believe it'll bring them a lot more recognition, and when they start selling cars and people start reviewing them and they start being in the hands of more consumers, it's going to be very interesting to see what that feedback is going to be. But I'm looking for a lot of positives. I've been watching some reviews on YouTube, and for what I'm seeing, it does sound good. And we also have to remember they are backed by Volvo, and they've been around for quite some time, so I'd have a good idea that they wouldn't want to screw this up. As far as for the price action is concerned, if you guys remember what I was saying, since this is a SPAC, the floor price is at $10. So I like to accumulate and load up on shares when it is below 11. So if you were able to do the same, you should be greening your position. As far as what I'm looking for, as far as for the price action, I'd want to see us get to $12. We know how much this is a key level. We tend to see some selling pressure here, but if we could break through 12, then the next level you want to look out for is around 1246. Once we can break through 1246, we are off to the races. And as far as what price I am looking for, I would love to see us get to around the $13 to the $14 level, and this will actually be a place where I will decide to move up my stop loss so I can move alongside with the play. As far as for yourself and what your strategy is going to be, of course that might be different for you, especially whether A, you're a long-term investor, B, you're a swing trader, or maybe a day trader when you figure out, you know what, there's some above average volume, it's looking extremely volatile. As far as the price action, there's some movements, so I'm going to take advantage of it. So again, figure out for yourself what is right for you. This is very essential before you go ahead and push that buy button. Doing your homework, doing your due diligence will give you a head start in the market amongst many others. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. So that's why I'm saying all we need is a lot more buying volume. We tend to trade at low volumes when it comes to GGPI. So you can only imagine if we had a very strong catalyst, this stock could literally explode. Of course, I am not trying to sell you on that point because this video and everything that I talk about is not financial advice, but there's a lot of upside. And like I've always said in a lot of my videos, I love the risk to reward ratio when it comes to this play. So I will continue to keep you guys inside of the loop. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. I'm expecting some great things, but like I said, I'm down to be patient. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.